not happy with our results from this weekend. I thought a young man came out and played extremely hard, battled a really good football team that's playing for a conference championship this weekend. We wish we would have been, but it ended out the way it ended. Again, really proud of our players, our coaches, and putting ourselves in those situations. We've got to continue to work this week on a way to finish and win the game. But for us to play the way we played in a senior day game against a really good opponent says a lot about the character of this football team and the character of these young men. And just really proud of them. And I know the results are not what we want and what everybody wants, but we'll continue to fight this weekend as SFA comes in here, who's a really good football team. I know the record does not indicate that, but that doesn't always indicate how good you are as a team, as I feel like we know. And so, we'll have a fight on our hands, and I'm sure it'll be another 60-minute game. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Coach, with all these close games this year, a lot of times football can be where that bounces your way or not. This year, I feel like there's been some times when we really needed it to where it hasn't bounced our way. Can you just touch on that and all these close games, what you've seen from your team? And obviously, you're battle tested, so these guys are prepared for those type of games. But just some of the heartbreaking moments we've had in these last 2 weeks, touch on those.
Well, I think it's something that, obviously in the off season, we're going to have to learn from and figure out how to always, to push us to the other side of that even more. But right now for these guys, they're hurting. They want to win for themselves. They want to win for each other. They want to win for EKU. And it's, I think anybody that watches any game we play, it's not a lack of effort. It's not a lack of talent. It's not a lot. It's just a lack of some certain things not happening. And, some of that, you can always turn the finger back on you. When you point a finger, there's threes coming back your way. And so, that starts with me. And so we'll address everything we need to address and do what we think's best for the program and for the university in the off season. But, right now we're just worried about, making that ball bounce really high for EKU this weekend and getting a win. And, it's funny, you talk to everybody or you hear everybody talk or whatever you want to call it. Every game we played in since Kentucky's been a four-quarter game. Everybody wants every game to be a blowout. So do I. It's not going to be that way. And that's fine. Expectations aren't what we worry about as much as the expectations we put on ourselves. But we have to figure out a way, like in the Western Carolina game, the Austin Peay game, the Central Arkansas game, the Gardner-Webb game, to find ways to finish the game out. The Gardner-Webb game, you understand, because we had some turnovers and we did some things that hurt ourselves. The other games, we pretty much just played really good football teams and didn't come out on the way we should come out. And that's part of the process of building your program, building your culture. These young men that are seniors that are on this call don't want to hear that. They want to hear wins. And they deserve wins. And we've got to find that way to figure that out. But we can't let Central Arkansas and Austin Peay beat us, 3 times and take that into the SFA game. So we have to flush it, move forward, and worry about this move. I don't know if that answers your question, but that's where I went.
Well, you touched on the senior class, and obviously you can't talk about every single one of them. But when you look at this class, talk about the importance of these guys to the program and what they've meant as far as moving the program and things forward. Because we know where we want to be eventually. We're still working on getting there, but I feel like this senior class really kind of helped propel EKU football to a place we haven't been in a long time.
Well, you look at it and it's a mixture of people. I mean, you've got Parker and Josiah been here the whole time, weren't recruited by us. You've got Mo and Logan, who are both on this call, who have been transfers, who have been here a different amount of times. You got Deontay Bembry. You've got Frankie West. And There's a couple guys that are going to move on, that have been a part of what we're doing. And, this group of guys have helped lead us back to the playoffs last year, to a conference championship last year, into new conferences through COVID. The list goes on of what they've had to battle in their time here. And it kind of is resemblance of what they do on the field as far as never quitting, always pushing through, battling through it all, and understanding that the adversities that come with football and come with life. And I love these guys. I'm forever grateful for them to being colonels. Each and every one of them differently has affected our program. And you just look at the three guys on this. Mo struggled through a knee injury last year, was really coming on, and then got the knee injury, struggled through that, and it's come back this year to help us. Not been the time that he wanted here, how he wanted it, but he's worked his tail off to help us. You got Logan, who's come in and really made a difference in our defense, and is the leading tackler, and infused some things into our defense. It's really helped and got our defense better as far as improvement this year and some things. And such a really good football player and good person that, those are the type of transfers you want to bring in, because we brought in so many with this COVID situation that through both of them being transfers, they're both committed guys. And I think they'll both have a piece of EKU in them for a long time. And then Parker, Parker is, in my opinion, one of the top three players to ever play here. And in my opinion, he's a top because of what he's done for our program since I've been here. But I also know there's a lot of great players that have been here, and I don't want to disrespect anybody because I haven't been around EKU football, for the whole, like Coach Kidd was. And so, but he should always be mentioned with the greats. And, if there's any, he'll be the first to tell you there's 10 other guys out there helping him every play. But if there's any indication of who Parker McKinney was, it was, negative 3 yard line, 97 yards to go with however a minute and 16, 13 seconds, whatever it was left on the clock. And we go down and score. How many times have he done, just three special men, three special individuals, and the others that aren't on this call. I don't want to leave them out. But I appreciate everything they've done for us.
Last one for me. Obviously, we still got this game this Saturday, but talk about first year in the UAC. This new conference that's kind of came together. Obviously, we know about the issue that happened in the game this past Saturday, but just talk about the conference as a whole and what you've seen from it here in your first year.
Well, I think the teams that are in the conference are all very, very competitive. I think they're all committed to football, which, it's great. It's a football-only conference, but, they're committed to football. They're committed to the success of their football programs. And, I think like anything that's brand new, there's issues. There's very, very positive things, and there's some things that we have to improve on. And I think anybody in the world would tell you that. And those are things that we have to continue to fight through. Hopefully, it'll stay together, and we'll redo this again next year. I've already got the schedule, so I'm assuming we are. And that there's no movements and things like that, because some stability would be nice for our football team. I understand the landscape of where we're going, where we want to go, and where we are, and the processes we have to go through to get there. And I'm all for that, but it's the leadership and the commitment to all the things. When you're new, people always are skeptical. When you're building something, people are always, I think you notice that in the polls. I think you notice that in the National Player Awards, with all that stuff. I don't know if we get the respect that we deserve. And I'm not talking about EKU. I'm talking about the UAC. And so I think those are things that you have to build. It takes time to build. You don't get it overnight just because, you put a bunch of teams together that are good. Now, if people are really doing their job, they should recognize that after a while. But it is what it is when it comes to that, in my opinion.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for taking the time this week again. And so I want to ask about the outside noise a little bit. Not really how you as the staff handle it, but obviously fans, EKU fans have always been positive when things are going good and can get a little harsh when things are going not as good. How are you guys able to handle with the players in the locker room, keeping everything focused? I mean, you still got the game left, so what's that process of keeping everybody focused coming into this final week?
Well, I mean, I think probably our players and you guys hear it more than us coaches, because we walk in here early in the morning and leave here late at night, and do everything we can to work well. I mean, I understand the frustrations. I understand the position I'm in. I understand the position our coaches are in. That's college football. Everybody wants instant gratification. I mean, heck, they just paid somebody $77 million who has a 65% winning percentage and, is going to win 8 games this year to walk out the door. I think people need to understand we're not in that situation. Not that it's not important. I don't mean it like that. And their opinions are their opinions, and they're very much entitled to them. They pay their ticket. They can scream at me. I hope they leave our players alone. I hope they don't, take it to that level. I mean, it's good that we have spoiled fans. I mean, I think that's a positive thing because that means it cares. I mean, no offense. I've been a lot of places and I've had a lot of fans come after me. And, we've had success and we've had failures. And, in the end, how do I say this? Their opinion is not going to affect how I coach the football team. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but those fans don't have a relationship with Parker McKinney, Mo Edwards, and Logan Blake. They're not going to affect what we try to get accomplished on Saturday. And I think you saw that this past Saturday. We had a heartbreaking loss against Austin Peay. And these guys came out and played with energy and enthusiasm and physicality and took the number 24 team in the nation to the brink again, just like they did the week before. So I get it. When you lose, you're not the fan's choice. When you win, you're the fan's choice. Yeah. Kind of like my wife sometimes, When I come home really nice and really positive and upbeat, I'm the best husband in the world. But when I come home pissed off, probably not the best husband in the world. But she loves me and she stuck by me for 25 plus years. And EKU's fans love EKU and they've stuck by EKU for however many years they've been.
And the last thing I got for you, Coach, is
there we are.
Yeah. Last thing I got for you is the culture aspect of it. You guys have been here now for several years. You've been able to instill the culture. I know the season's not done yet, but how do you feel going into this offseason? Because you're losing some guys that have been around for a while again. And so how do you feel the culture is moving forward with the guys that you have already planned to come?
Well, I mean, honestly, we're only losing 8 players. Now, I mean, Portal could take whoever they want to take and will take whoever they want to take. But, Parker and Josiah are 2 that have been here for a long time. And then Mo's been here 2 years. Is that right, Mo? And Logan's been here 1 year. Bembry's been here 2 years. Frankie's been here 1 year. And then we're also going to have Jeremy Edwards and Ethan Besnardick go through it. So Ethan's been here, for 4 years. And then Jeremy too. So I think we'll be fine. I think our culture, I think the one thing that people should be positive about it, even though our win-loss record's not where we want it to be, is our culture. I mean, if and this, you never know what happens on Saturday, so I'm not going to sit here and, predict, but I mean, there ain't been a game that you could leave early and say that we didn't have a chance to win. So I don't think that's a culture problem. I think that's, I've got to figure out how we have to get over the hump. And I think I've got some ideas, but I'm not going to share those right now. And how we can get better. But we have to get better. I get that. But I don't think it's a culture problem at all, because our young men, after heartbreaks, after whatever, after injuries or whatever, I mean, they are out there battling their tails off every Saturday. And the results aren't what we want, but it's not like we're looking at the scoreboard and seeing us not even in the game.
Yeah, and just to clarify, I meant that as a positive thing, the culture moving forward too. I
Right.
don't think the
I
culture's bad.
I understand. I'm not, trust me, I'm good. but that's just how I feel. I mean, I'm utterly amazed by our football team. And I know people are like, well, what do you mean? And, you're 4-6. Well, I mean, I ain't had a lot of issues from them. They come to work every day. Our numbers are out the roof. And when it comes to GPS and our production things, and they haven't quit. I mean, in today's world, that's in my opinion, that's a really positive thing about these young men and our coaches. I mean, and our coaches have done some really good work. We have to find a way to win the game. And I was looking at the schedule today. We and just thinking we lost to Western Carolina, but then SEMO, North Alabama, Tarleton, we win, and then we go to Gardner Webb and have that experience, and then, I mean, we're right there. We just got to find the way to get over the hump, and we've got to do it this weekend against SFA, because these 3 men and the other 5 deserve that, along with our football team.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it. Good luck this weekend.
Appreciate you.
Coach kind of touched on it there, the close games and everything. And obviously, y'all have had a ton of opportunities to be able to close some of those games out. But talk about the disappointment this year, and with the expectations that you all had coming in, what it's been like going through some of these tough losses that you all have had over the last month.
Yeah, obviously it's been a super tough season. We've lost 4 games by 3 points all 4 games as far as the FCS opponents go. Super tough losses. And yeah, like you said, the season definitely didn't go the way that we expected it to go. Obviously, we still have 1 game left and we got to finish strong. But, the expectations we had set for this season didn't go the way we wanted. And, the craziest thing about it is, you take 4 or 5 plays, and those 4 or 5 plays honestly could have been the difference in us being 4-6 right now, or sitting here at 7-3, 6-4. So it's tough, but I mean, those small little details is what Coach Wells talks about all the time. And, it ended up coming up in a couple games and the ball didn't really bounce our way. And, and now we're kind of where we are now.
When you look at the state of the program, obviously, since, you've been here, you've seen transition, as Coach talked about, led to COVID, now in the UAC. Where do you feel like the program is now as opposed to where it was whenever you first got here?
Yeah, I was talking to someone about this the other day. Right now, I mean, granted, our record does not show it, but I feel like this is probably the best state the program's been in my time here. As far as the players on this team buying in, the culture that Coach Wells has set for this program, like I said, I think it's at an all-time high for my time here. Obviously, there is a certain tradition that we're trying to get back to here at EKU, and Coach Wells is, pushing us in the right direction. And, I think he's going to get this program there. And, I really can't speak on all of it, but I just know, like, as far as like the team and the players, everyone's bought in wanting to win. I think that's the biggest thing. Everyone wants to win. All these losses are heartbreaking. I can't say anyone on the team has been talking about they want to go home for Thanksgiving, which, in years past, obviously you hear some people talk about stuff like that. There hasn't been any of it this year. Everyone wants to keep playing, wants to win. I think that's huge for our program.
Parker, have you taken time to think about the emotions of what's going to go on Saturday? You've seen several senior days go through in your time here at EKU, and now this one. this one's going to have a lot of focus on you. So first of all, congrats on the career at EKU, and how's it going to feel you going outside?
Uh, yeah, obviously, there's going to be a lot of emotions. Me and Mo, we were talking about it earlier. He was like, "Are you going to cry?" And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I hope not, but I really don't know. Exactly what it's going to feel like. To answer your question, there obviously there's so many memories and stuff that I have from here, and it hasn't quite hit me yet, but I'm assuming Saturday all those are just going to come, kind of flowing back to me, and it's going to hit me like a ton of bricks. And I'm super grateful for my time here, and just hope going into Saturday we can finish the season out on a high note.
And last thing I have for you, Parker, is your legacy is obviously already solidified at EKU. It's not something I'm sure you've thought a whole lot about throughout your career, but now that it is kind of winding down, have you thought about the impact that you've been able to have on the university and what you've been able to accomplish since you've been here?
Obviously, like it has, like, I've thought about it, and it just, I don't know, it really just hasn't all set in with me yet. It's something that probably, maybe later on down the years, I'll think back and really kind of look at it for full circle. But my whole thing is I've just kind of just tried to take it a game at a time, a play at a time. And now that it's kind of coming to an end, I feel like I've been here forever, but it also felt like it kind of went by in a blink of an eye. Which is tough. But obviously, like I said, I wouldn't have, rather played at a different university, and obviously great teammates, great coaches here. And I'm, super thankful to have been in the position I've been in for the last 6 years here.
Hey, Parker, this is from the radio crew, but do you have a favorite memory, or do you have a series of favorite memories of your time here at EKU?
Um, yeah, I mean, I feel like, my time here, there's been just so many tight games that came down to the wire, whether it be a game-winning drive or I don't even know, overtime wins. The biggest one that comes to my mind is obviously that 7 overtime win versus Bowling Green. Longest football game I've ever played in. I'm sure everyone on the team could probably say the same thing, I would assume, but I would say that one's probably, my fondest memory. Obviously, them being an FCS opponent or FBS opponent, excuse me. And then just all the stuff the team was dealing with, with Coach Wells's stuff that was going on back then, just for us to be able to pull that win out. That's probably my fondest memory here.
I asked Ryan a few weeks ago about when you came in, coming from a smaller school, smaller conference, smaller, all that good stuff. I said, hey, did he look like D1 from day one? He goes, yeah, man, day one. I know you put on a lot of weight over the years and come over through there, but you came into EKU and made immediate impact on this team. Is it what you expected to do? And how did the season go compared to the way that you thought coming in?
I mean, obviously coming in mid-season, you don't really know what to expect. I mean, it's a whole different world going from like an NAI school, like a small town community, into like an FCS bigger program. And obviously you see different things, with the portal, NIL, different opponents, all that type of stuff. I just came into it with an open mind and leaned on my teammates to get through that. I mean, the season hasn't been what we expected to. I mean, obviously we make the playoffs last year, conference championship. So those were our goals. And we had some other ones also that we haven't reached, but I think there's a lot to look at this season at, and be proud of. I mean, we feel like we're a really good football team. I mean, like Parker and Coach Wells said, I mean, the ball just hasn't bounced our way. I mean, we've lost in just about every painful way you can. I mean, in overtime, game-winning field goals, missing game-winning field goals. I mean, it's been an emotional ride, but I mean, I wouldn't change it for anything, and I'm thankful for this season.
And with one game left to go this year, SF Austin, of course, their record is not good, but they've lost a lot of close games as well. What's the one thing outside of a win? What's the one thing you want to accomplish in this game Saturday?
I just want to have fun. I mean, football is all about fun, and just going out there playing with my teammates for the last time, guys that I've gotten closer with all season and stuff, and just go out on a high note.
Logan, how important is a win to finish off the season strong? I know you guys talked about the disappointment of the season, but how important is it to get a victory this Saturday to finish off the regular season in a strong way?
I think it's important for a lot of reasons. Obviously, Coach Wells said sending the seniors out on a high note. Obviously, that's important. And then also, I mean, just catapulting this program into the offseason. I mean, I won't be here for that. Parker won't be, but, giving hope to those guys for the next season and, giving them hope to work harder and stuff like that so they don't have this type of senior season, just in terms of wins and losses, and maybe just help the program going forward in that sense.
What's the vibe been around the locker room? Obviously, again, just on the disappointment factor of things. What's it been like coming back home from Central Arkansas and the vibe around the locker room these first couple of days of the week?
I mean, obviously it's deflating, just how we lost going down there, having a plane ride home. It wasn't a fun one. And then the UAC releasing that statement, which doesn't mean much to us. And it doesn't help us at all. And deflated, but you have to look to the next week, and just finish the season on a high note, with the 8 seniors and sending guys out that deserve it.
About or Parker talked about your all's relationship and talking about the emotion of senior day. When you look back on your run with this program, what do you think has been the biggest achievement for you guys that are seniors? What do you think is the biggest thing that you all have accomplished?
I think the biggest thing that we've accomplished is just kind of the culture. As when I first transferred in 2021, coming in, well, Coach Wells just kind of told us, we're trying to flip the script. We're trying to bring back the old tradition of winning, getting the conference championship, getting the playoffs, every year. Let that be, the standard. And I feel like we've pushed it to that. And, the past 2 years, of course, kind of going down with injuries and stuff like that, sitting on the side, kind of watching that, it's been kind of tough. And, this year with heartbreaking losses and everything, it's been kind of rough for my journey, but just to see how everything has just changed in this program just within 2 years has been awesome. It's been great. And just being a part of that and being able to push that as well.
Same question I asked Logan about the importance of getting a win on Saturday. Why do you think it is so important for you guys to finish out with a victory?
I think it's important, to send the seniors out with a bang, and kind of go into the offseason with the guys that are coming back, having a win on their belt going into next year's season, knowing that they are a good team, because this is a good team. And, the ball just hasn't rolled our way. But sending the seniors off and the 8 guys that we have in senior day, just send us an off and with the win. It'll be good.
Hey, Mo, congrats on your career and, one more game to go at least. And to wrap it all up, obviously it didn't go as planned since you came to EKU with injuries as well. And you talked about that tough journey along the way. But most people talk about, the relationships they build along the way. Who are some of the guys that you were really able to connect with in your time here at EKU?
Parker has been one of my close friends since I got here. Dak from last year, and all the 8 guys 7 guys, including me. I feel like we all have a bond. And throughout the team, I just feel like this is like a close unit. This is one of the closest teams that we've had since I've been here. And we're always picking each other up when things don't go our way. And I feel like relationships built off of this year will last a very, very long time.
And there is a lot of somewhat negativity going on right now, just, how the season has gone. But you look at guys who are considering coming to EKU, what would be your pitch to them about guys that are considering coming in next year, whether it be incoming freshmen or transfer guys as well, that maybe from the outside we don't see, but at the inside, that as soon as they get here, they'll learn. Logan talked about it before too, and you've come in as a transfer too. So what would be that pitch to those guys that, hey, this maybe the record isn't what we want it to be, but the program is where it needs to be?
Yeah, kind of piggybacking off what you said, the record doesn't speak for itself of what Coach Wells and the coaches have going here. I feel like, you look at the past 2 years, you're 7-4, 7-5. And, you know, this year, of course, you've had heartbreaking losses, but the culture inside the locker room and the connection you have with your coaches, it's a winning program. You want to be a part of something like this. You want to go win those ball games. And I feel like this is just the perfect place to be, especially if you're a transfer. You know, you're coming somewhere, you want to win, you want to play, come here, come to EKU.